Welcome to J&D Outdoors, brought to you by J&D Outfitters, Arkansas's premier crappie and walleye guide service. Fully committed outfitters, making piles and leaving smiles, located in Carlisle, Arkansas. Power Crappie, home of Todd Huckabee rods. Charlie Brewer Slider Company, over 50 years in the business. Power Brakes, better boat control, more fish. Redneck Rubber, beaver bottom baits. Beat Down Outdoor Products. Mad Fishing, family owned, quality products. Pro Guide Batteries, all day staying power. Grenada Lake Tackle Company, some of the finest jig heads on the market. Purpose Built Optics, optics built with a purpose in mind. Carter Cove Bait and More, live bait and tackle, located Lake Nimrod. J.B. Langley, some of the finest apparel out there. And a very special thanks to Freedom Dent. Stay tuned, guys. We're going to have a great time.
Hey guys, Jeff Larch with J&D Outdoors. Thank you so much for joining us this week. Guys, we're going to do something a little different this week. We're not going to be in the woods. We're going to be in the kitchen. We're going to show you what we do with some of the meat that we get while we're in the woods. This is a really cool recipe. We're going to be utilizing ground deer meat on this one. A lot of guys or gals, all of y'all have deer meat in the freezer that is generally ground. It's just something that you get as a byproduct when you take animals. We use the lesser desired portions of the deer to make our ground meat, whether it be the shanks or trim or whatever it might be, even the ribs. So we try to utilize every bit of deer that we can. But guys, this is a recipe that's really simple. It's not overly complicated. And before you turn your nose up and go, oh, it's meatloaf, because there's a lot of people that don't like it. This is a barbecue meatloaf. It's completely different than a lot of the meatloafs that your grandma or your mom used to make when you were a kid. But it's awesome. I've had great reviews about it all the way across the board. It's something we enjoy at our house on a normal basis. And I hope you guys like it. But like I said, leave your comments, subscribe, guys. We've got more content like this coming, and I hope you enjoy it from my kitchen to yours. And let me know what you think about it, guys. Thank you so much. All right, guys. So what I've done now is I've went ahead and I've put my meat in the bowl here. This is going to go on a mixer. Makes it a lot easier. It's a lot cleaner than trying to put your hands straight down the bed here. What we're going to do is I generally go about 1 egg per pound of deer meat. These are probably close to 1.5 pounds, something like that. So we're probably going to put about 3 eggs in here. Make sure you don't get no shells in your meat there. All right, pretty simple. We're going to go ahead and start adding some of our seasonings. I like nature seasonings, just a nice smooth flavor. Kind of good on about everything. It's not overwhelming, but adds a nice touch to everything. Now it's going to look like a lot of seasoning, but this is a lot of area to cover, so you probably start somewhere in there. We're not trying to overpower the flavor of our meat, but if you can see, we've got a nice little coating there. Now we're going to go in with a little bit of Tony's. Tony's got a nice little bit of heat in there, so same thing though. We're going to put a decent amount in there. Not near as much on the Tony's though, as you can see. Next thing in line, your favorite barbecue sauce. I like Sweet Baby Ray's. Gonna go with it. Gotta watch that Tony's. It makes me sneeze. I'm going to start out with a pretty nice little amount of Tonys, or Sweet Baby Ray's in there right on top of our Tonys. Going to head over to put this on the mixer, and then our next step will come in. So, all right, guys, for our next step here, everybody in the South has got a can of bacon drippings. Keep them in the fridge, but either way, I like to add a couple little scoops of bacon grease in there. And kind of to your liking, but you know, deer meat's really, really lean. That little bit of fat in there's going to help kind of render and cook inside that meat pretty well. Now, you can brown some bacon in a skillet, chop it up, put it in here if you want. And sky's the limit. Some people want to put bell peppers and onions and all that in there. The wife doesn't really care for that, so I don't do it on my batch very much. But the next part of this is definitely going to be something we do by eye. Don't know if you're going to be able to see it down in the mixer very well and get the consistency right. But anyway, we're going to put it in here and turn it on. And we have plain breadcrumbs or Italian-style breadcrumbs. It's not going to matter on that. And then I really like putting panko in here. And for some reason, it really helps firm this meat up quite a bit. So when I turn this on, I'm going to start mixing. I'm going to start adding breadcrumbs as I go to try to get the consistency where I want. Now, guys, sorry, the mixer may be kind of loud, but we're not going to start this thing on a really, really high speed by no means, but we want to go ahead and get everything fairly incorporated in the mixer before we start adding our breadcrumbs, because we don't want them clumping up in one spot. Now, I'm starting to see that the consistency in here is changing, which is a really good thing. Getting about where we want it to be to start adding the breadcrumbs. And we're going to put a pretty good amount in there. This is what's going to help it actually become a loaf, an actual meatloaf. Like I said, a lot of this is by eye. We're going to stop it for a second. Pull it up and see, and we're starting to see some of the breadcrumbs mixed in. I like this to be well below a 50-50 mix. So when you lift up this mixer here and look, you don't want to see 50% breadcrumbs to 50% meat. I can tell that I'm going to be a little bit behind, so I'm going to go ahead and come in with some plain breadcrumbs, and I'm going to put a few of those in there. We'll probably get into our Italian breadcrumbs some, but doesn't really matter. Breadcrumbs are kind of your preference. I prefer breadcrumbs over crackers by far, though. So we're going to go ahead and kick it back on and let it continue to mix for a minute. We want it to get really well and incorporated. And if you can see in the mixer now, we're starting to see that the meat is clumping into more of a dough and kind of a ball. You see little balls kind of coming up in there. We're almost there. We're making a really good sized batch of this. We like to put it in the fridge, have some for leftovers all week, take to lunch with us, so on and so forth. So if you stick to the recipe plan, it doesn't really matter how much you make. You can get away with doing the whole thing. But we're going to go ahead and add about a cup of these Italian breadcrumbs. They are seasoned, so it's going to help with a little bit of flavor too. But you know, always buying the expensive stuff here with the great value. Good food does not have to be expensive, guys. So all of this ground meat is made from either trim from where we have cut up other meat that we've put in the freezer, and even shoulders, shanks, things that a lot of people tend to throw away on a deer. You know, we get a lot of really good ground meat out of this, and we can utilize this a lot of different ways. Guys, don't waste your animals. When you kill an animal, use everything you can. There's a ton of ways you can get online here and look up a ton of different things that you can do with the parts of your animal that most of the time you would think is unusable. So anyway, we're going to make us some delicious meatloaf here and take some of those parts that are normally hard to deal with. But if you can see in here, this is starting to really clump up. Definitely what we want. So we're going to move on to our next process here in just a second. All right, guys, now that we went through the entire mixing process, we're going to come over here to our pan. Now, I have 4 of these nice aluminum disposable loaf pans here. And I like these because I can just take them out, put them in the fridge, use them as I need them, done with them, whatever. Or if I want to take one and give them to somebody, I don't have to worry about trying to get my pans back. But anyway, we're going to take us some extra virgin olive oil here. I like the spray stuff, it's a little easier. So we're going to give it a pretty decent coating all the way around to keep that meat from sticking quite so bad. As you can see, it's not a lot, just a little. And we're going to start taking our meat, flopping it in the pans. Like I said, this recipe here, if you follow it, you can make about any portion size you want. No problem. We enjoy having some of this sitting around on hand just to kind of eat quick throughout the week. We don't have to worry about making dinner on the fly. But evenly spaced. You can fill these pans all the way up, but you don't have to. It will cook much better if you don't have them full to the top. When you fill them all the way to the top, it's going to take it all day to cook. And we're not trying to do that. And we'll try to portion them out a little bit better. Anyway, guys with good clean hands, you can use your spatula if you want. It tends to be a little more trouble, but you can get it in all the good corners there. Now, by all means, if you want to fill these pans full, make one big meatloaf for their sandwich size slices, you can. That's your personal preference, whatever you want to do there. I like to take my spatula and kind of poke around the edge after I've kind of loafed it into place. So now that we've loafed them into place, got them where we want them. We do have them on this cookie sheet. This is mostly just so I can get it in and out of the oven really easily. These little things here, they're kind of flimsy. You don't want to be messing with that. Like I said, your personal preference on barbecue sauce. I'm just so happy to be using Sweet Baby Ray's today. Guys, if there's barbecue sauces out there you like, leave them in the comments, man. I'd love to try them out. Any of you guys that make your own barbecue sauce, if you want to send me a bottle, I'll be more than happy to make a review on it. But anyway, if you want at this point here, you can go back and you can coat lightly with some seasonings. I don't think I'm going to have to. This seems to be about where I want it to be. But we're going to go ahead and take our barbecue sauce and not going to go crazy with it. That's all personal preference. I'm going to go ahead and put us a few little dabs on here, but we just want to glaze this with barbecue more than anything. Now, if you wanted to cook this in your smoker, this is absolutely awesome on a smoker. We're just making it in the oven tonight just due to the fact that it's much easier to deal with this time of day. Okay, guys, now that it's like this, we're going to go into an oven that's preheated to 425 degrees for roughly around 30 minutes on loaves this size. Now, as you can tell, these are only about halfway up the pan. If you're going to go with a bigger loaf, obviously your cook time is going to be adjusted for that. But like I said, we're just kind of staying with small ones for right now. That's all we need. But anyway, guys, we're going to go pop them in the oven. And after 30 minutes, we'll get back to you and we'll pull them out and show you what they look like. I said, in they go for about 30 minutes.
All right, guys, it's been about 30 minutes. We've hit an internal temp of about 165 to 170. And as you can see, they've come out beautifully. There's a little bit of that bacon fat rendered up on top. And around the edges where I push that down, you can see the meat is pulled away from the pan there. And that makes it a lot easier for us to cut this. So, ready to go. We got to let her cool and cut them up and plate them up. Well, there you have it, guys. Venison meatloaf with corn on the cob and Brussels sprouts. Great meal. Hope you enjoy it.
Well, there you have it, guys. A venison barbecue meatloaf. Guys, from my kitchen to yours, I hope you enjoy this as much as we enjoy it. Leave us comments. Let us know what kind of stuff you're liking, what you're not liking, guys. Subscribe, share it around. Feel free to do all that stuff. And if you have a barbecue sauce company of your own, guys, forgive me if I haven't tried it, but if you think you have the best out there, send it to me, guys. I'll be more than happy to leave a review on it and let you know what I think about it. I sure hope you got something really good, guys, because I love food. But anyway, guys, from my kitchen to yours, I'm Jeff Larch with J&D Outdoors. Thank you, and God bless.